only one that dreams of one day being kidnapped by a serial killer? Okay, probably should explain. See, studying the inner workings of their mind can only do so much. I need firsthand experience here. Don't worry, I'm not entirely crazy. I have a plan to get out. Or, moreover, they'll let me go. See, who could say no to this cute face, some persuasive techniques, and what I like to call the big guns? Now, I know you would all like me to try this right now, so you don't have to listen to the rest of my speech. But the scary thing is, you have no choice. Welcome to Hiding Away from Murderers. Today, we'll be going over 3 basic necessities when convincing a serial killer to let you go. First, you'll need a cute face. Sadly, this one's taken, so we'll look back at your childhood and see how fear is controlled in your mind. Next, we'll work on our persuasive techniques and look at the societal expectations that cause fear in everyday life. And finally, we'll pull out the big guns and remind them that no matter how scary your serial killer may be, the only thing to fear is fear itself. See, at this point, if they haven't fallen in love with us, they'll definitely let us go. Now that we're talking about fear, we should probably go over some killer details. Your prefrontal cortex and frontal lobe perceive the threat relating it to past experiences. Then the amygdala will send out the fight or flight response, which includes increasing the breathing and heart rate, pumping blood to all of the muscles, and giving the bloodstream a healthy dose of adrenaline. While the following factors, context, social distraction, and learning, all have a part in how we experience fear, a common theme is a sense of control, says Assistant Professor of Psychology at Wayne State University, Linda Sapp. Your brain will limit all else in the spectrum of focus, so you can directly target the threat at large. See, fear is really just a series of commands and responses in your brain, but it can be used for so much more. When we think of serial killers, we usually think of the stereotypical white, middle-aged male that stares at you for just a little too long. We don't think of people like James Parody, who by the age of 12 killed 9 people. See, he manipulated his subjects into following him into the woods and then executing them. Throughout our lives, we've been manipulated in a much less gruesome way. See, your parents used fear to teach you how to act and who to be. We learned this through our own experiences and through stories of the experiences of others. The true grim fairy tales are much scarier than some horror movies. I mean, think about it. The Boy Who Cried Wolf taught you that lying could have you getting eaten by a wolf. Then we learned that through Hansel and Gretel, if you disrespect your parents and if you're greedy, you could be eaten by a witch. And finally, the 3 little pigs. They just skimmed through life. And you know what happened? They were eaten by another big bad wolf. Getting eaten was a basic form of fear in the minds of most children. We didn't only learn through our own fears, but also through the fears of our parents. Peter Grass, author of textbook Psychology, says, "The world is not more dangerous than it was in the past because of technology, but because we have created dangerous myths on danger. We have created myths that the parents believe, and then they pass their fears onto the child, creating an extremely wary population. We've learned morals and what to trust this way, but we've also gained a lot more anxiety through all of these fears that we have to learn to manage." See, the morals and that sort of thing is a positive way fear was used to influence us. And your fear may not yield such positive consequences today. There are a few pieces to becoming a serial killer. See, first, you usually have a crappy childhood consisting of an abusive parent or some big death that affected you. Then you add in some social anxiety, some mental disorders. Bam! Perfect psychopath. See, they have their own set of beliefs, but Ian Birdie says it in an understandable way. He says, whether these things are good or evil is determined by society. Well, Ian, society and I have all come together, and we'd like to tell you that killing all those people is just definitely evil. But he is right. Whether good or evil happens, it is determined by the rest of society. We walk through life trying to stay in the indistinct borderlines that society has granted us. Best-selling mystery author Rita Brown says, "The result for conformity is being liked by everyone but ourselves." So we'll try to be these respectful people, and we love the opinion of those who we see as greater than us, creating a silent, servile personality in way too many people. So we will silence our morals and this innate desire to speak out just so we can be surrounded by our peers. You see, we have been told that ostracism is the result of holding an opposing opinion, and we all have a fear of being left alone. So we push our morals to the side without even realizing it. We have to be able to designate and separate our fears from the voice of reason. Because when the situation comes where you need your reason and your fear speaks louder, only negative consequences will result. So you must be able to distinguish your fears, which is difficult, seeing how much they control you. And it's really hard to see that you may have been wrong many times before, but you'll be able to live a more comfortable, happy life, knowing that you're no longer controlled. See, it's difficult to find a way between your fears and your real self, but it's possible. Now, we're gonna pull out the big guns. See, most serial killers like hands-on contact, but automatic weaponry is an easy, fast way to kill. And we're about to pull out some automatic weaponry of our own. The reminder that no matter how powerful you are, no matter how scary you are, there's always something more powerful. I mean, look at social media. These people time how long you're on each post and then push out content that they think you'll like based on this. The Social Dilemma film on Netflix shows us that they have psychologists come in to analyze how different images can provoke different thoughts in your mind. They're creating your thoughts, making them happen. They have the power to make or break companies. They can sway political decisions. They can sway the opinions of millions of people through the click of a button. And their power is unregulated. You may think, oh, I know better. I learned these things. I grew up and I knew, be careful with social media. It's not always true. But what about those people who didn't? What about the people who weren't warned? The people who truly have their belief system altered by social media? Who gave a singular person the power to manipulate the eyes of millions? See, that scares me to the bone. Knowing that these people should live in fear and they don't. Because fear isn't always a bad thing. Fear can be a warning. And without a warning, there's just going to be utter chaos when the time comes. Now, I should introduce you to a chaotic creation of my own. This is my first victim, Dr. Bones. Yes, he was dead and plastic when I got him, but I've dropped him a lot. He told me about his journey from simply a plastic head to a full-bodied plastic skeleton. He was put together by bolts and screws as he became what resembles the remains of a human. He told me how he was shaped, much like how we're shaped through our fears. And then when he tried to enter society, he was pushed aside because he's not human or something like that. And finally, from the outskirts of society, he watched as he got his degree in psychology, where he learned that there is always more to fear. See, he told all this information to me because I'm his one and only friend, also because he thought I'd be dead after I got kidnapped. But I'm still here. See, the cute face, persuasive techniques, and big guns really work. So, we've learned that fear can be a tool and a weapon. If you choose to weaponize it, be careful you don't hurt yourself. and use it well. Because fear can control, but it's also used.